Hey guys, I'm back with another speed build. This is another part in my After the Apocalypse series, builds for The Sims 3. If you want to go check out my other builds, please go check out my channel. They're all pretty swell. If I want to toot my own horn here. So this time I have a old motel. I'm using it as a residential lot, actually. So this is technically like a family home, but it's an old motel. It's been repurposed for a family. Um, so yes, in case you didn't know, just for a brief checkup, I'll do at the beginning of every one of these videos, just, quickly. I'm working on a series of builds that have to do with where the apocalypse happened about 30, 40 years ago. So there's like this small community of survivors that are coming back to this like kind of uh, dank, misty island, and they're moving back in and repopulating this area and creating a community for themselves. So it's pretty cool. I'm also using the world, or a custom world called the Lost Cove. I will leave a link in the description down below where you can go download that for yourself if you'd like. It's really cool. It's a world that basically has nothing in it. It's a bunch of blank lots and like buildings tipped over and sunken into the sea, and it's meant to be after the apocalypse. It just doesn't have any lots in it. So this series is me building those lots according to what I think would be appropriate for it. So yeah, so of those kind of buildings that are left, like I said, this is an old motel. So actually building it is, like, the building itself is kind of boring in shape. Um, because of course there's not much to it. It's a motel, and I was looking up pictures of just seedy, cheap roadside motels, and they are these rectangular, flat-looking buildings. Like, even if they're a couple stories tall, they just seem to look flat all the time. I don't know if it's just me. So I kind of tried to replicate that a bit. And so yes, there's a little room off to the left there. That's like the entrance way, or what do you call it? The check-in room where you'd pull in and, go get your key. And then there's a little side room there next to it that was, I thought, maybe used for like breakfast or something. So it's like there would be a couple tables, and that's where you could go make your morning toast like they would have at some hotels. I don't know if a really cheap motel would have that, but this one does, because why not? That's also where like the faculty bathroom is. And then other than that, there are 8 separate rooms, and each of the rooms, of course, they're all exactly uniform because it's a motel. I couldn't really, I mean, I would love to try to make it elaborate or like, cooler shaped rooms, but old motel, you can't really do that. You have to stick with that kind of uniform flow throughout. So that's what I did. I think all this ends up looking a lot better when I start actually making it after the apocalypse, right? Like, because right now it's just, it's the build. Up to a certain point, I was just trying to think of that this is an actual motel. I was building a motel for pretty much all of the fundamental parts of this build. So yeah, the walls and windows, I was building a motel. And then once I got to a certain point, I was like, yay, now I get to make it look like an old motel. So that was like when I started recoloring stuff. And after that, when it was actually came to furnishing, and I was like, yay, now I can actually think of it like it's been weathered down and beaten up and after the apocalypse. So that was pretty cool. So that's how this is going right now. You should also know I kind of made this build once before, but I kind of lost it. Okay, so I still use The Sims 3. I've said it before, but why not? I love The Sims 3. I actually prefer it over The Sims 4 for several reasons. Although I will say there's a lot of pluses to The Sims 4, but just they don't. I guess for me personally, it's like I can't achieve the buildings and the look that I want in The Sims 4 that I can in The Sims 3. So like these kinds of things I just cannot accomplish, I feel like. Um, and also gameplay wise, I like the open worlds. I like being able to run around, and that kind of like made, make or break. So that kind of broke it for me as far as The Sims 4 goes. So I've played it a little bit. I haven't in a while. I'm sure some of the new stuff packs and stuff have been great. But I honestly don't know. I haven't played any of those. If you have like an honest opinion about that though, and you want to like try to share what you think I would like, or what kind of packs might be best for a builder like me, who likes like creepy, weird builds, like the like old apocalypse builds, and also castle-like things. Like if you want to know, I am also doing another series based on Disney builds. So from classic Disney animated films. I have a couple castles. Belle's Cottage is already up. Go check those out if you'd like. I'm pretty proud of those. Those are really cool looking, actually. And yeah, so maybe, I don't know, maybe when The Sims 4 gets terrain tools, maybe then I'll go back and seriously really retry to play it. Um, but until then, here I am. I think I've always been a little bit dated in my game playing though, not just Sims, but I'm actually a pretty avid gamer. I've always loved video games. I've been playing them since I was really little. I remember playing, you know, like Barbie games on the PC. Oh my gosh, that was a time to be alive. um, yeah, so I've always been really into it, and I've been here since The Sims 1, actually. I do remember playing The Sims 1. Oh my gosh, that like, I obviously I don't remember everything, and I actually went back recently and watched like a comparison video. I think it was just like of all the different ways that childbirth or something. It was like the comparisons of Sims 1 to Sims 4 of all the different ways that when your baby is born. And I did not remember how cruddy like the Sims 1 looks. Like I don't know, I guess my memory just has like some, you know, rose-colored glasses on. But yeah, the graphics in The Sims 1 are so like shank. Like, oh my gosh. I did not realize it until I saw that video. But I also remember from The Sims 1, the cast building system had not been created yet. Like I remember that. That was a huge revolution going into from The Sims 1 to The Sims 2 was the create a sim. Because oh my gosh, in The Sims 1, I don't know if you remember, but for some reason I do because it's like one of those particular memories that sticks with you and you just can't forget, even though I haven't touched it in, like since I was a little kid. But like you could choose a head and then you could choose a body, and that's how The Sims 1 worked. So I remember that like I thought all of them were really weird and gross looking. So there was like the only heads that I really approved of were like this Asian one. And so I almost always ended up playing with the same family. And it was a single mother, an Asian woman with two twin Asian girls, and they were my family. And I had like, I forget what I named them, but I had like really, really generic names. And I think I might have even named one Mulan at one point, because again, Disney, and I was a little kid. And they were like my favorite family, just because I thought they looked the most normal. Because again, the graphics, Sims 1, woof, like go back and look at that. That's pretty scary. Um, but yeah, so as far as data goes, it took me a while. Like I played The Sims 2 for a long time before The Sims 3 came, or after The Sims 3 came out, I should say. Um, I think I actually finally gave in and bought The Sims 3. It was it was like a few months before Seasons came out. So that was like 3 years into The Sims 3's existence, and then finally I was like, let me try this game. I should probably try to upgrade. Like I don't know, I held on to the old stuff for a while. That was also because I was a kid living with family and, you know, money and stuff, and you can only ask for so much at one time. Um, so for Christmas and birthdays, if you know what I mean. So yeah, but now I'm an adult, and like I said, I've actually played Sims 4, and maybe I'm just holding out. Like, watch, it will. It'll be like The Sims 5 is gonna get announced, and then I'll finally go and like become addicted to The Sims 4, because that's how it always is with me. With like video games and stuff. Like games will come out and there'll be revolutions and like I'll hear all about it and I'll see the price tag of like $60 for a PlayStation game and I'm like, nah. And then I wait like a year and the price goes down to like 25 or so and I get the game and then suddenly I'm really into this game that's over a year old and like nobody's really talking about it anymore, but like I'm in love. Like I've always been that way, and it's mostly because of like prices for things, because I save money in any way possible. I don't know. I just, you know, everybody, I do. It's money. I don't know. You feel frantic. I've never been I've never been like needy or anything. It's like a pre-programmed thing in my brain. It's like you want to get the best prices and sales, I guess. I don't know. Um, but whatever, right? And of course, the other thing is feedback, because there are so many times when anticipated games are coming out and they're going to be amazing and everybody's rooting and raving. And same thing with movies, and they come out and they're like disasters. And everybody, like, there's a couple games like that came out that I'm glad I didn't buy, because now they've just gotten so horrible reviews, or like, they're it's like a waste of money. And yeah, and so my weird habit of just waiting or a long time to play games turns out to be pretty good, actually. I think, at least for my bank account, right? Um, so at this point, I finally finished recoloring the building part, and now I'm placing furniture. Excuse me. So what I usually do is I place all the furniture, and then I build the whole build, and then I recolor all the building parts, so like the stairs and the walls and things like that. And then I go through and furnish the whole thing, and then I recolor the furnishings, and then I decorate. And then I usually end with landscaping if I can help it. I know a lot of people do landscaping with the build part. I like to leave it till the end because it almost feels like the icing on top of the cake. It's like this is my last like bit of thing to make it look pretty. So that's why that doesn't happen until the very end. Also, I have a habit of like putting things that, like, maybe if I find it in the catalog, if I don't want to go find it again, I'll go put it up on the lawn. And if the lawn's already decorated, I feel like I'm gonna lose an item or like a piece of deco out there in like the tall grasses or something that I put down. You never know. Um, but yes, so for this, again, it's a motel. So I was still trying to think like a motel at this point. I wasn't thinking like after the apocalypse. So it was the same uniform bathroom, the same kind of uniform cheap beds, and just like things that have been repurposed. Like I picked out a certain coffee table that was like, this was the coffee table that was in every room. And now there's a couple missing, and they've been moved around because the family that's moved in and taken over this hotel as their home um, is now using it, as it maybe uses those coffee tables for different reasons. Or in that one case there's like a little cot bed that they're using as a sofa. If you see a bunch of the custom content that I use, by the way, most of the stuff, especially in this build, comes from a custom content person called Granny Zaza. I would recommend getting her stuff if you want some like rundown, decrepit looking things. Like all the wallpapers and stuff in this build come from her. She does. She makes very, very good, like, just gross looking stuff. Um, for lack of a better, it's not like gross, like actual, like bad looking. I mean, like it's run down. I guess you know what I mean. Look at the build. You know what I mean. So in case you're wondering, that is where I get that custom content. So as far as the repurposing goes, like I actually tried to assign different rooms for different purposes. Like the room in the very top right corner is technically like a kitchen. So I imagine the family came in and like installed those wooden shelves that I'm working on right now. So they installed like the wooden shelves themselves, though those weren't actually there when they got here. And then they put like a little fire pit up there that maybe they opened the window to get the fire to go out or something. I don't know exactly how that would work. But that's how they cook their food, is on that little fire top. And then they've also hijacked one of the, what's it called? Oh my gosh, the freezer fridge thing. It's technically a refrigerator. It's custom content for me, but it looks like a fridge that you see in a grocery store. It's got the glass front. I feel like there's a name for that. I'm just losing it right now. But yeah, so I imagine they would have hijacked one of those from the front counter area, and they moved it up to their kitchen, because why would they want to go downstairs all the way there to grab that if they could move it upstairs? So that's what they've done. They have their little extra fridge in the kitchen room. There's also a kid's room and a parent's room, an extra bedroom, and a little study room. Because the family I'm moving in here, actually, for my personal gameplay, is a family of 4. So it's a mom and a dad and a boy and a girl. So, yeah, this is where they're going to live. As part of my neighborhood, of my gameplay, because I've been actually playing like a game as I make these builds. And I'm just sharing the builds because the game for me is like, the game is like for me. I'm just like having a fun time building and living off the land. My sim is a one heck of a gardener by now, let me tell you what. um, Also, one thing I'd recommend if you want to try builds, those square lights that you see, those are from the buy debug mode. They are invisible lights in real time if you ever want to use them, but I generally use them when building because they can light up a room so I can actually see all the colors before I go through and put actual lamps and stuff in. So that's why those were there briefly. And then I do take them out and go put in actual lights as I'm doing right now. Actually, check that out. I'm right on time. Yay. Um, let's see. So, and then I guess this whole build kind of came together when I started decorating, as it always does. Um, a lot of the times when I'm building, it's the decorations that make it for me. It's the clutter. I've said it before in other videos. I love clutter. Clutter is my jam. I can't even. Oh, those lamps, by the way, those are like regulation lamps. And the wall lights, too, they're in the same place in every room because, again, it's a motel. I was trying to keep things uniform. Boring? Yes. Accurate? Also yes. So what else can you do, right? And they've also like repurposed like one of the upstairs rooms as a dining room where they've put a table with mismatched old looking chairs and then I had a time trying to pick out drapery, like because I was trying to find something that just looked seedy enough for an old motel, but they didn't move. I wish there was a way for for you to like if there are different versions of things. Like how do I explain this? Like I think the perfect sim game is going to be like a mash between Sims 3 and Sims 4, honestly, because there are a lot of really good aspects about the Sims 4, and I have to admit about that. Like I said, they're just not enough for me personally to change over at this point. But oh my goodness, like okay, so if there was a way for like everything to go old, like if there was like an old pack or I don't know what would like not an expansion or an update even where there's like an old version of every object in the game. So it's like you have a cabinet and then recolorable options for the cabinet. One always includes like what's it called like a cabinet that's dirty or broken or has like chipped tops or something as part of the mesh. Like that would be the coolest thing for me. So in this case, like drapes. If I had drapes and no matter how many times you can recolor them, there's always a version of that Maxis or EA drape that that has like tears in it or where the rack is hanging crooked or something. I don't know. Just old looking versions of everything because that's how I've always played The Sims. I, for some reason, like The Sims, like playing down and it's well, actually no, never mind. It's like opposites. I either play The Sims like this, down, dirty, and where they're barely surviving, and I've played Sims with murder mods and things like that, like all the really bad stuff that The Sims is not supposed to have. I've like rejoiced in that. Like in The Sims, it had to be two, I guess. There was like a gun mod where like the sim could go around shooting people, and like I had like this mass murder. It was awful. It was an awful gameplay, but that's what I did, right? Um, but yeah, so like that, it's either that kind of gameplay for me or super, super high end royal. Like I want the richest, like stupidly rich sim. So rich that they fart money. Like that is my, that is the other end. And I don't really play in the middle. I don't do little family homes that have drama. And I've seen Let's Plays and stuff on YouTube. Of other people and they have like really fun storylines and stuff like that actually there's a couple storylines with just different families interacting and the teenagers falling in love and it's really cute for me to watch. I just for some reason don't enjoy playing that way, and if I do it's like for one sitting and then I'm over it and I'm done. So I wish in the future, for whatever comes out, if it's Sims 4, if Sims 4 comes out with that, then I'll start playing Sims 4. But if for like a Sims 5 comes along and they have like the mixture of the building stuff, and then they have anything in buy mode with a decrepit section. Like, I don't care if it's like an update or if it's an expansion pack. It's like the old expansion pack, and here you go. That would be like the first one I'd buy. It'd be mine in a heartbeat. Let me tell you what. Oh, so that's what I would do. So the kitchen got the most deco in this build. So one of the things that I thought was cool is that, like, even though they can move the refrigerator, because like that's mostly electric in this case, the plumbing they can't really do. Like, they can't like rework the plumbing to make a, a a sink, for instance, in their kitchen room. So what I imagine they do is the kitchen sink becomes the bathroom sink that is on that floor. So the adjoining bathroom there, that sink that I end up putting, or I actually think I already did, I might go back there. But I put a bunch of plates and things underneath that sink, because if they do dishes at that sink in that bathroom. And where are they going to put them? On the floor, I guess, underneath. And so that's what I imagine they do. And then also the pots and pans always end up around the fireplace, because that's where they get used. So it's like a grouping of just stuff, because they don't have storage in this place. They haven't installed cabinets. They've installed those plain countertops, but there's no cabinets. So everything is out in the open and exposed. And that's not their fault. That's just, they've repurposed what they can. They're living a pretty decent life in this little motel, but like, they don't have all the amenities of life before the apocalypse. So that's what they got to do. All right, you got to do what you got to do. And I guess other than that, let's see, what have I've noticed I've started getting a little bit of a trend as far as my apocalypse builds go. And I don't know what else to do, but I for some reason, I love the look of it so much, so I do it a lot. I end up putting brambles on the rooftops. So I love that idea. I think I saw that idea. Where was it used? It was used somewhere else. I saw it somewhere. I think from maybe Deligracy or something on YouTube. Somebody put like plant life on the roof to make something look older and overgrown, and I fell in love with that idea so fast, and now I do it in like every build, every like old build. I can't stop. It's like awesome for me. I guess if you have other suggestions or something else that I could do, let me know, because if I like it, I will latch on to that idea. The other thing that I use, you'll also notice several things. I'm sorry. The other thing that I used too at the very end, I could not resist. I was trying so hard to resist, but I did it anyway. There's this series of windows that I got from, I believe, the Sims resource, that are just like broken holes in the wall. And I used them a lot in a couple of my other builds. You can go look at those for the apocalypse ones in particular. And this one I didn't use any. And then at like the last minute, I went and added a couple holes in that back staff room, because I was like, well, why wouldn't they use this staff room? Well, maybe it's got holes in the walls. And it was mostly an excuse for me to put holes in the walls. I will admit that. So yeah, I can't stop you. For some reason, I just love the way they look. And I forget who made them. I think it's Cyclone Sue off the Sims resource, but if I'm wrong, I apologize. But whoever made them, either way, like, is a genius, and I couldn't live without them. So yeah, thanks. Custom content, man. Like I said, I've used it a lot of custom content before, but I've kind of finally like narrowed it down to like the few things that I just use a lot, or the few modders that I've downloaded stuff from, and then those are the people I use. There's the hole in the wall, see? Ha 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 ha. Sorry, guys. It just looks too good for me to pass up, And at this point, I'm actually pretty much done with the interior. So yeah, okay, so now, see, I've started terrain painting, which means I'm done with the interior. So terrain painting for me is always a little bit fun. I used to be horrible at it. I've gotten a lot better since I started doing videos for YouTube, because I want my builds to look good. And after I started watching other builders, I kind of learned a little bit how to landscape better. And because landscaping for me before sucked. Like, I was bad at it, and now I actually think I'm doing all right. Like, I recently did Cinderella's Castle, and I think the landscaping on that was like probably the best I've ever done. It's not perfect. I'm sure some of the other builders could do better, but for me, I was like, yay, look what I made. It's like actually cool and pretty looking for once instead of like gross. Um, so like, yeah, I mean, if you have any other tips for me, or if you think this looks kind of bad or something, let me know. I want to know how to fix it. It'd be cool. It'd be fun. um, Other than that, I think we are actually pretty much done with the build at this point. Yes, we are. So if you liked this, make sure to leave a like. Leave a comment too if you want to know anything or if you have suggestions for another build to go into this world. Yeah, and other than that, have a great day. Until next time, bye.